Hey, what it do? It's your man with the plan, RJ. Keep it a banging. And today we gonna talk about how Sha'Carrie Richardson is reaching far and hard and wide. Okay, so everyone remembers July 2nd of 2021, in which U.S. track sensation Sha'Carrie Richardson, who punched her ticket to the Tokyo Games after winning the women's 100-meter race last month, has been suspended for 1 month after testing positive for THC, the chemical in cannabis. She failed the drug test following her Olympic qualifying 100-meter race victory at the U.S. Track and field trials in Eugene, Oregon. This is where people are getting this Oregon and weed stuff mixed up, but we're talking about an Olympic drug test. All right. So, Sha'Carrie's competitive result obtained. Now, key word. This is a key word. This is her competitive result, meaning that she was able to compete, and only when she competed did she test positive for THC. So technically, again, it's not the same. And it is the same because even though you tested positive, you still won the race, and you just didn't get to go to the Olympics because of said positive race. You didn't wait until you got to the Olympics to pop hot like this little girl did. Because if anybody knows anything about just drug testing, period, hell, if you'd have had a drug, if you'd have been on probation with the state and you'd have had a drug test, and you know, bro, they will drug test you anywhere they catch you at. I done got drug tested at Wells Fargo at my job. I done got drug tested. I didn't have to go and take a drug test. You know what I'm saying? And I had a weed case in Texas. So, and she from Dallas. That's how I seen her run. You know what I'm saying? Cold in the bitch, fast in the bitch. She went to Carter. You know what I'm saying? She was cold. She was cold as fuck. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to her mama, for real, because I can definitely see that like as a main, you know what I'm saying, coping mechanism. You know what I'm saying? Hell, I smoke weed to get through my pain. I have chronic pain everywhere in my body. My back, my foot don't work. You know, it's a lot of shit going on. You know, sometimes I got to use a wheelchair. You know, if it's anybody who's an advocate for for using marijuana to treat your pain, it's me. However, if you're an Olympic athlete and you know that this is a banned substance, even though it may not be performance enhancing, you know that it's a banned substance. You didn't give the Olympic Committee a heads up, hey, I might be positive. You know what I'm saying? Hell, I done been on probation, failed my last drug test, and because I told my probation officer that I went to a Halloween party in Denton and got drunk and didn't know what happened, I was able to get off of fucking probation even though I had pissed 300% THC. We talking about the state of Texas, and anybody that ever caught a case in the state of Texas know, state of Texas don't motherfucking play. All right. So this was okay. So she did not fail a drug test before she got there, because anybody knows anything about Olympic testing, they know that they test, or just professional sports, period. Hell, one of my partner's dad used to play in the NFL. We was there when the nigga from the NFL came to do his drug test. This nigga just popped up randomly. They will come to the B folks will come to your house. They will come to your job. If you have too good of a performance, you will have to take a test right then and there. Other examples are when Myles Garrett had like 4 sacks in a game, and then he showed his arms, and the very next day he was drug tested by the NFL. Or like what just happened a few weeks ago when Odell Beckham threw that 40-yard bomb to Matthew Stafford or whoever the fuck he threw it to, and because he looked at his arm and did it like this, the very next day he was drug tested for fucking performance enhancing shit. So yes, bro, if you do something that in the regular human mind is fucking impossible, then yeah, and you're in professional sports, yeah, bro, they gonna drug test your ass, goofy. They're always gonna drug test. They always been drug testing. They never gonna stop drug testing. The difference between Sha'Carrie Richardson and this little girl is Sha'Carrie Richardson was 21. She's a 21-year-old athlete, and she said she used the marijuana to cope with her mother's death. This little girl is 15. She 15. Quinceañera. Quince. She is 15. Now, the whole Russian skating team should be stripped. They need to be investigated to the fullest extent of the law, because in my head, if you didn't found a way to not get caught, like, okay, let me start over. This is what I believe. You know what I'm saying? I believe that it ain't never your first time doing anything. It's just your first time getting caught. Again, this ain't your first time doing anything. This is just your first time getting caught. I truly believe, because these Russians always been dirty as hell, I truly believe that this got some Lance Armstrong shit going on, where this girl, like, she done been through numerous other drug tests, and then finally waited the week before her competition start in the Olympics, because she already been participating in the Olympics. She already there in the Olympics, and then she popped hot. That's the difference. Sha'Carrie popped hot during a competitive drug test in which she was drug tested after she ran in Oregon. This little girl, they waited until, like, or not they, when I say they, I mean the Russian Olympic Committee. They waited until they actually got to the Olympics and then started doping. Cause or they've been finding a way this whole time, like on some Lance Armstrong shit. Whenever they get ready to do these drug tests, they'll switch out somebody's blood. They'll switch out, you know, because that's what Lance Armstrong was doing. And this banned substance treats angina. It's called trimetazidine. Trimetazidine, whatever. And it treats angina. So it's a drug for angina pectoris sold under many brand names. It's described as the first contraceptive or anti-ischemic agent developed and marketed by a laboratory server out of France. It improves the inhibition of fatty acid metabolism. Okay. So in my synopsis, trimetazidine is usually prescribed as long-term treatment for angina pectoris in some countries, including France, for tetanus and dizziness. It may be taken twice a day. It's a banned substance on the substance list. In 2014, Chinese Olympic champion swimmer Sun Yang tested positive for trimetazidine, which is a newly banned substance 4 months. Where is that at? Banned 4 months earlier and classified as a prohibited stimulant by WADA. Sun was consequently banned from Chinese Swimming Association for 3 months. WADA reclassified and downgraded trimetazidine into a stimulant as a modulator of cardiac metabolism. So basically, is to keep your cardio going, which I can see that being a performance enhancing drug. However, because this little girl is 15, I'm like 80% sure that she just listening to her coaches, taking whatever they telling her to take, and that be it. Same thing that was happening with Sammy Sosa. Same thing that was happening with goddamn Roger Clemens. The same thing that was happening with Mark McGwire. The same, Barry Bonds he was normally doing steroids, and that is my next thing. Sha'Carrie, you knowingly used a banned substance before a race. You tested positive for banned substance after the Olympic qualifying race. You just chose the wrong time. Because I'm sure had you smoked that shit when you was over there already in the Olympics, and like you would still be able to compete, you definitely wouldn't have came in first, second, third, or fourth place. But you would have been able to compete. The difference is you knowingly, as an adult, used a banned substance that you knew was banned. This was not given to you by your coaches, not given to you by a member of your family. You went down somewhere, probably in DeSoto or probably in goddamn in South Dallas, or I wouldn't go to Pleasant Grove and get no weed. Oak Cliff, you probably went to the Cliff, you know what I'm saying? Got you some of that fire Dallas gas, you know what I'm saying? And, you know what I'm saying, was coping with the loss of your mother. Bro, I feel that, you know what I'm saying? But when your life has a bigger meaning than what just happens on a day-to-day, you have to think about the bigger picture. And had you had you rolled that blunt and said, after I win my race at the Olympics, I'm going to smoke this motherfucker. Bro, you would have been good. But you didn't do that. You didn't wait till you got to the Olympics to smoke it. None of that shit. But you knowingly took a banned substance. The reason why I'm calling for the Russian Olympic Committee to shut down the Russian skating program is because I can see this being a common practice for every athlete that they have, no matter who it is. I can see this being a common practice. I can see if you want to have more endurance when, as far as like your metabolism, as far as your cardio is concerned, which figure skating, around and around, doing tricks in the air, using different parts of your body, I can see that being a competitive advantage. I can see that as cheating. The little girl need to get stripped of her goddamn medals. They need to do a full investigation of everything that they had going on. They need to investigate anybody that came out of this Russian skate program, because they starting off early as shit. This little girl is 15, and they didn't had her take a performance enhancing substance. Now, of course, one girl is black, one girl is white. But the main difference is one person is supposed to be responsible for everything that they're doing because they are a fucking adult. And the other kid is a fucking minor. She's a minor. All right. And then for the next argument, people saying that, oh well, no, it's legal. The marijuana is legal in her state. You know what I'm saying? Where she was at. No, it ain't. Cause I done caught a goddamn case in Texas and had to pay $3,000 for a fucking gram of weed. Basically, that's my probation fees. And I do community service, all this bitch ass shit. What are the current laws in Texas concerning marijuana? Texas state law dictates doctors must write prescriptions for marijuana for it to be legal. But federal law prevents doctors from writing marijuana prescriptions. Additionally, pharmacies must fill prescriptions, not marijuana dispensaries. The law protects doctors legally recommending marijuana to patients, but it does not allow for them to prescribe them. Meaning, it is fucking illegal to smoke weed in the state of Texas. Oh, but yeah, I heard she ran at LSU. You know what I'm saying? That's different. Or she ran in Eugene. She ran in Oregon. That's where her college was. That's not where her college was. She ran at LSU. She ran at LSU. And Louisiana state laws, they just now in 2021 have decriminalized marijuana in June. They decriminalized marijuana. But these state laws have nothing to do with the Olympic drug test, because the Olympic drug test supersedes any state, any city, or any country. That's why every person that's an Olympic participant undergoes a drug test, no matter what country or city or state they're from. Okay, glad we got done with that. I'm saying this to say, when you're an adult, and last time I checked, when you're 21, you're a fucking adult. Or if she was 18 when it happened, you still a fucking adult. When you're an adult, you're responsible for what is given to you, what goes into your body. Just like if you're an adult and somebody gives you a PS5 for $100 and they sell it to you hand to hand, and you buy the PS5, then you could be charged with receiving stolen goods. Because you're responsible for figuring out if said thing is stolen or not. All right, you already knew that this was a banned substance. Yet, you just said, fuck that shit. I'm going to just smoke it till my mama die. I feel you. But in doing that, you also said, fuck the Olympics. And fuck the Olympic Committee. And fuck my career at that particular point in time. And then it didn't help that, okay, since you didn't go to the Olympics, that's cool. That's cool. I mean, it ain't cool, but, you know what I'm saying? Let that be that. TV companies and other athletes sponsored a race for you. And you talked cash money shit. And okay, of course, this is after all of this. This is after the whole fiasco of her doing the drug test thing. I have to go back and redo history for everybody. All right. Where was I at? So, if you decide to take it upon yourself as an adult to indulge in certain things, then you have to be ready for any and all consequences. This is a part of being an adult. When you're a kid, when you're a fucking minor, when you're a minor, you can get scapegoated. It allows for somebody else to get blamed because you couldn't have known. You ain't had that many years on earth. You couldn't have known that this was gonna do that. You couldn't have. It allows for more leeway to say, oh, this is her grandfather's medication. This is her father's medication. This was given to her by accident. It gives a lot of leeway when you're a minor. That's just like, you notice that if you get it, like anybody that ever got in trouble as a kid, like with the law, if you get in trouble as a kid, even though you might still got to go to juvenile, your parents still got to pay a fucking fine. Or did nobody else get in trouble when they was a minor? I'm just saying, when you're an adult, you gotta just take this shit on the chin. This is not the same situation. This is not the same scenario, young lady. Now, Valeva, whatever, the little Russian girl, little Russian white girl. She still shouldn't be able to compete. I definitely don't agree with them still letting her compete. And if she wins, she just ain't gonna be able to get, like, you know what I'm saying, like, be at the medal ceremony. But who gives a fuck about that? If you still gonna give me the medal, that's goofy as hell. So nah, nah. And again, as far as I can remember, marijuana has always been a banned substance. This little pill just became a banned substance in 2014. It ain't even been 10 years. And then the people that found it as a banned substance and already downgraded it to just a stimulant. So, yeah, I mean, it's just not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same. Marijuana in Texas or Louisiana cannot be administered by a doctor legally. This medication can be administered by a doctor legally everywhere. The little girl, again, should not be able to go to any of the ceremonies. She should not be able to participate. The whole Russian skate, whatever, the skating committee, the skate team, skating association, they all need to just be investigated. They need to figure out how long this been going on. Because this little girl was able to pass all the drug tests in order to get to the Olympics. And she only popped hot once she got to the Olympics. She didn't pop hot after an event, I don't think. She popped hot just getting regularly tested. So, all in all, what did we learn today? We learned that this little girl is a minor. Sha'Carrie Richardson is an adult. This little girl could not have had access to this goddamn prescription. Sha'Carrie Richardson definitely had access to marijuana in the goddamn state of Texas, specifically in Dallas. I know, I lived there. Everybody know me in Dallas. Also, Sha'Carrie, your drug test came after you qualified for the Olympics, and it was a competitive. What do they call it? They called it it was her competitive results. It was her competitive results. So meaning that she took that drug test after she had already competed. Meaning she didn't wait until she got to the Olympics to smoke that weed. She went ahead and smoked that weed before she went to the Olympics. Wrong again. Happy Black History Month, but just because you black, I ain't gonna be on your side. That don't mean that. Wrong is wrong, right is right. And we gotta do better. This is not the same. This is not the same. Sha'Carrie, you willingly and knowingly went and got that weed, broke down that weed, rolled that weed up in a swisher, because you kind of look like you're a swisher girl. And you smoked that weed under your own recognizance. This little girl was administered this medication, meaning somebody had to go get a prescription for this medication, meaning somebody had to prove to a doctor that they had angina in order to get this damn medication. Also, the fact that this minor was administered this medication and she didn't go get it herself is completely different. Now, just because it's different, wrong is wrong. This little white Russian girl should not be able to compete. She should be sent home immediately. Because banned substance is a banned substance. Period, point blank. Even though it ain't the same drug test that it's not the same drug test that they took. Sha'Carrie Richardson took a competitive resulted drug test. His other little girl, I believe, just took a regular smegular drug test that they just do at the Olympics. Excuse me, while you're waiting. She pops hot. Can't figure out where it came from. We as a people need to learn some accountability and responsibility. We have to take responsibility for our actions. We have to make sure that our yeses are yeses and our noes are noes. We need to ensure that we are thinking about the bigger picture when we do our decision making. Again, I love Sha'Carrie Richardson. She go hard. She was putting on for the D. You know what I'm saying? Literally one of the fastest people I've seen in my life. You know what I'm saying? But this just ain't different. I mean, I'm sorry. This is just completely different. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even gonna bring up the fact that after they sponsored that race, you came in last place. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even gonna go there because that's neither here nor there. You know what I'm saying? Like Drake said, yeah, you be smoking niggas on and off the track, but you know what I'm saying? That's niggas. When it came down to them Jamaicans, everybody smoked you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it. But yeah, it's your man with the plan, RJ. Keep it a bangin'. Y'all pray for our people because we lost. You know what I'm saying? We just reaching for anything. It's Black History Month. We just think we can say anything, and hey, that's not it. That's not it. Right is right. Wrong is wrong. And you knowingly took a banned substance, and it could be argued, and because you're an adult, and it could be argued that because this little girl's a minor, she had no idea that it was a banned substance in her body. That's the biggest difference. And now with the Olympic Committee, yeah, they might got some racist shit going on because they still let the little white girl compete, but didn't let you compete. But then again, it was different circumstances because that little girl was already there and she tested positive. This wasn't before she actually got there, so it's just different. It's just different. It's just different. But yeah, again, it's your man with the plan, RJ. Keep it a band, and you know what I'm saying. I'm out. You know what I'm saying. I thank y'all for being y'all. You know what I'm saying. And shit, as long as I owe you, you never be broke. Shit, I'm out this bitch. As long as you keep it a band with me, I'm gonna keep it a band with you. Peace.